Greetings, fellows and gentlefolks, 'tis I, Pure Note. Today I'm going to be reading another Jet Howard story. Artistic Grandeur. I don't know why I'm reading so many Jet Howard stories. I just genuinely like his stories. It's going to be unedited because I'm far too lazy and I only have like an hour to do this, so. Alright. Just going to jump straight into this. Artistic Grandeur. The stallion looked at the blank canvas with an expression just as blank. The walls of his studio were unadorned, favoring the plain, off-white color that he had chosen for them all those years ago. Every third month, the room got a fresh coat of paint to cover the myriad flecks that wound up there when the artist entered his more passionate throes as in droplets of paint far and wide as his passion manifested itself across the canvas. He had several dozen different cans of paint at his disposal, and yet nothing stoked his desire for more than the blankness facing him. Even his most minimalist works were treasured in the community. But he had doubted that he had enough prestige to get away with the blank canvas. Still looking what the others had presented forth at the last museum tour made the artist cringe. How opponents could look at what had been presented and call it art baffled him. Surely there was something that he was missing. With a sigh, he shattered the silence. The stallion laid down the paintbrush that he had been holding, opting to take a step back from the canvas before attempting to work his magic once more. The wooden floor creaked nicely beneath his hooves. The ever so slight give in the wood reminded the artist just how much he had walked and pounded on the floor in this room. He was a restless artist, always flitting from one style to another. I said fleeting from one style to another, never lingering any longer than his heart desired. He did not cater to the whims of the public, instead delivering what he had thought was quality and leaving it up to the community to render its judgment as they would. It had paid off in the dividends after he was discovered for his rendition of an apple orchard. The darker undertones were said to have distracted from the painting, but the artist didn't give a damn about that. He both loved and hated the picture and what it portrayed. He was a walking manifestation of the fact that an artist is pleased with their work. But produce an artist must to survive, and so produce he did. Each work of art produced was given mere moments to dry and mature before it was sent off and seen by the larger public. And it was on this basis that the stallion based his works. Each piece helped the next along. But some critics focused on the single aspects of the work, focusing on a single small aspect or mistake, forsaking the rest for the mistake, almost literally missing the forest for the trees. A good work of art will have some mistakes, some small inconsistencies that just happen. Other artists, some fairly well known, isolate themselves from the community to an extent and choose to work out several connected works of art before unveiling them in a single grand swoop. This method works for some artists, but for our intrepid painter, this method is unsatisfying. The desire to hear from those who enjoy his work is too strong to resist. The creaking noise shattered our creator's riviere, causing him to turn towards the noise. The gentle sound of hooves on the wooden floor signals the entrance of another pony living there. The creaks of the floor are so similar that the artist can't keep a small smile from his features. I'm not going to do a voice for this one, because one, I don't know who it is, and two, it adds mystery to it. Still nothing, my love? That's kind of a voice. Her voice had the same titillating tone to it that the artist had fallen in love with all those months ago. You really should get out more. Inspiration is a way of sneaking up on you when you least expect it. So you know it's female. The artist gave a wan smile before he turned back towards the blank canvas. Have you ever seen something... Oh, no, there it is. Have you ever seen something more beautiful? Save for you, of course. The mayor put up a small laugh at the artist's stumble. She had already heard this question before, and she answered as she always had, knowing the stallion loved to answer this question himself. It represents possibility. There are... Wait. Never mind. It represents possibility. There are quite literally infinite possibilities locked within this section of cloth and wood. All it takes is a single brushstroke to start the next masterpiece, a single alteration of it, the blank state, and it's closer to unlocking yet another piece of art. No pony has an excuse for not creating something at least once in their life, be it a painting, a tale of misery and woe, or a simple piece of artfully carved wood. Art isn't something that can be forced, love. The artist looked over his shoulder for just a moment, before he returned his gaze once more to the cans of paint sitting on the table. A hoof gently brushed a few labels, the flecks dried paint peeling off at his touch. I know that, but it's also something that can be put on hold forever. But it's also not something that can be put on hold forever. When you find the drive to create, don't stifle at it. It can be something as small as a single phrase, or it can be something as grand as a revolution. No matter the source it comes from, inspiration shouldn't be cast aside. The artist grabbed one of the cans of paint, and with practiced ease he popped off the lid, admiring the slight sheen of the paint still on the can. And this? The artist dipped his hoof into the paint, allowing it to drip from his hoof back into the can. The material from which my art emerges. My mind acts as a driving force for the majesty of my work, but this is the medium through which I display my vision. The artist rubs the still wet hoof against his chest, creating a smear of paint through his coat. He looks back at the canvas, and his eyes light up once again, finding at last the inspiration he seeks. Minutes turn to hours, and hours turn to days. At long last the stallion steps back from his work, and the paint still wet in places, but the image staring back at him is unmistakable. The clear lines and defined shades make the work one of his best yet. Still, despite its clarity, something is missing. Several soft voices sound from outside the room. The artist can't keep a smile from his face as he dashes over to the door, eager to show his latest work. The sounds of the creaking wood as his observers enter is muffled slightly by the sound of his own hoofs contacting the floor. His guests all looked at the piece of work with wonder written plainly on their faces, but none of them looked at him, only his work of art. A voice different from the others pierced the vial, shattering the illusion for the artist's eyes. The painting stayed, but the 6 mares that were in the room mere moments ago all vanished, replaced by only 6 canvases that rested against the wall, each one waiting for a painting that will never be painted. A deep sigh escapes the stallion as he turns to face the source of the voice. The tall, pure white coated mare stands in the doorway, a look of sadness in her eyes. Come, my little pony. It's been 3 months since they've passed. You can't just stay here and cry for them all the time. You need to get out and experience the world. It's what they would have wanted. The stallion cast a last look at the picture he painted, a sense of peace passing over him. Princess, I'd like this last one to go on the monument. If you'd like, that is. I'm certain that can be arranged, blank canvas. Now, let's go and enjoy the day.
I'm sorry, I have no words for this. Oh my god. Nope, still nothing.
The imagery, beautiful. The ending, sad, but meaningful. Jet certainly has a way with words. That's for damn sure. This is why I follow Jet. It took him a single hour to write this, and it carries so much meaning. A salute to him, and I agree with him when I say that imperfections are what make a perfect story perfect. Just like all my imperfections in each one of my readings. I screwed up on that so hard. Oh well. Well, goodbye, Phillies and Tentacles, and peace out.